welcome to Dimly Lit Garage. Now in today's video, we're going to be covering 5 steps that'll help you guys sell a personal car. Now of course these 5 steps may not encompass all car sales, however I think they are a great general guideline for what I would go through when it comes to selling a car. So I mean, if there's anything I left out, please let me know in the comments below. Tell me what you guys think is important and how you would go through a sale for a personal car. Step number 1, do your research on the car you're trying to sell. For the sake of our video today, we're going to be working with this 2002 Mercedes SLK 320. This car is potentially going to be up for sale in the future, so it works out that we can do this and maybe kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Step number 1 on our list is doing research on the car you're selling. You want to know the market you're going to be selling into, and you want to know what your car is worth. And I don't just mean the year, spec, and model. You want to know what your car specifically is worth. That includes, you know, how many owners it's had, if it's ever been in an accident, any upgrades it has, what options it had from the factory. All these things factor into the price that you should be posting your car for sale. A great place to start with this, and I'm sure most people go here, is kellybluebook.com. It is one of the most renowned car appraisal websites, if you will. So let's just go ahead and enter our car's information in, and we'll see if we can get a rough estimate of what it might be worth. Now on websites like this, you can enter in pretty vague data. You can just put the year, make, and model of your car. But if you want to get a more accurate depiction of what the car is worth, you can add in any powertrain packages, options, colors, any sort of things like that about your car, if you know them. And of course, if you even have like the original window sticker and stuff like that, that's super helpful because that will list all this stuff for you. But if you don't know that, you can put in the general information, the mileage, and you'll get a rough estimate of what it might be worth. Alright, got all that entered in. Now, Kelley Blue Book says here that the suggested retail price is $7,400 roughly, and the fair market range is between $5,700 and $7,600. Now, obviously it varies per car, but I find that Kelley Blue Book will sometimes, it sometimes seems low per what cars are actually selling for. So beyond Kelley Blue Book, I like to go and check on other sites like Car Gurus, and I just like to get on other sale pages and see what these kind of cars are going for sale for. So I'm going to go ahead and scan through some different websites and some sale pages and get a better idea for myself of what this car is worth. And it's really helpful, I think, to note down some stuff. So if you got a pen and paper, just write down what Kelley Blue Book has the car listed for, maybe what Car Gurus has it listed for, and what sort of prices you're seeing on the sale market. What I like about Car Gurus is that they base their market value on the listings that are already posted on their website. So based off the Car Gurus market value estimate, they put it around $8,100. So mark that down and move on. Once you have a pretty solid idea of what your car is worth, we can move on to step number 2. Step number 2 is cleaning your car up and getting it ready for people to come look at and for you to take pictures so you can post it online. Because this car is actually going to be for sale potentially in the future, let's go ahead and clean it up because it could use a wash. We'll get some nice pictures of it. So with the car all cleaned up, let's go ahead and grab some pictures of it. Normally I would like to take the car somewhere with maybe a better surroundings for the photos, but for the sake of the video, we're just going to try and take some pictures here. And I will just talk about how I think the photos should be taken that people are going to want to see in your ad. You don't need to get too extravagant with it. As far as the exterior goes, people want to be able to see the car that they're coming to look at. They don't need the flashy shots, the low stance shots, the fancy stuff like that. So let's just go and walk around the car. And so for the front, you're going to want to go ahead and get like a nice crisp front shot. And then I like to get each quarter shot, so front, both the front quarters, both the rear quarter shots, side shots, and rear shot. Now, obviously because I am leaving the car in the driveway to take pictures, I don't have the best angles here, but I hope you guys can get the idea. I would suggest you take it somewhere with a little better surroundings, or at least move things around it so you can get the photos you need. So I would just say try and avoid the really obnoxious close-up stance boy kind of shots. It's just not necessary for this sort of thing. While they might look really cool, people don't really want to see that when they're coming to buy a car. So let's move on to the interior. I like to get pictures of the inside of both doors. I like to show the condition the seats are in, show the condition that the center console, the steering wheel, that sort of stuff is in. After looking back at those photos that I had taken, I would definitely suggest getting better lighting for those. Those are very, very dark and huge no-no. I would suggest you make sure you do it when the sun is shining, or you do it in a well-lit place. Unfortunately, I just haven't had the time, and it was dark when I got those pictures taken. So I would say that is probably more important even than just getting the surroundings right, because you can hardly see the interior in the photos in the video here. But take that as an example of what not to do, and make sure you try and get well-lit photos. So with our car clean and our photos taken, let's go ahead and move on to step number 3. And step number 3 is all about getting the paperwork in order for this car, getting any service records you may have for the car, manuals, brochures, window stickers, vehicle history reports like Carfax or anything like that if you have one. And ultimately you're going to want to get the title ready for the car, but that could happen later on. Moving on to step number 4, we're going to talk about how to write the ad for your vehicle you're selling. Now, when I'm writing these ads, I find it helpful to open up like a Word document or something along those lines, so you can work on writing it, edit it, however you need to get it done, and that way you can copy and paste it into other websites or other ad listings that you might have. I like to start off by stating the obvious things like the year, make, and model of your vehicle. From there you can move into some of the highlights that you think make your car stand out from the rest. Some of those may be that it's an original owner vehicle, or maybe only a 2-owner vehicle. If it has a clean vehicle history, no accidents. You can talk about maintenance, if it's been maintained meticulously over the years, if you ever had any issues with it, if you've had timing belt, water pump, things like that done, replaced. Because I think that will really attract people and show people that your car is going to be a good buy for them. So from there I would go into talking about any additional features or items that your car might include or come with. In our situation here, the Mercedes, we have a Carfax listing proving the clean vehicle title. We have an additional set of wheels for the car, so that'll be included as well. And these are the kind of things you can list, and you can also go ahead and list any highlighted options that your car might come with where another one might not. You could include that it has heated seats, or that it has 4-wheel ABS, even though a lot of cars have that. But you get the idea. You want to include the things that you might think people really look for, people might like to see. From there, towards the bottom of the ad, I just like to include the mileage of the vehicle, the price I'm asking, and my phone number. I'm always open to call or text, so I let people know that, so no one feels like they have to email me through the website that they're dealing with. And finally, when you're concluding your ad, of course, you're going to want to add the photos you've taken. Make sure they're good photos. I know mine weren't the greatest, and I like to include a picture of the window sticker in those photos if you have it. I think that's neat. That shows people the exact options that the car had from the factory. And also in my case, I'm going to want to go ahead and include the photos of the extra set of wheels I have, and any extras that might go along with the car. You're going to want to have those included in your photos, and that way they can see very clearly that these things come with the car and there's no discrepancy there. And from there you can go ahead and get it posted. And what I would say about writing these ads is try not to ramble on about personal situations with the car. People don't really care. I would say just talk about the cold hard facts, what the people are going to come look at, so you don't need to go into a story about why you're selling it or things like that. So moving on to step number 5, we're going to talk about the dealing and the selling of the car to the potential buyer. Look who decided to join us today.
Hi.
Deborah's here. So when you're dealing with people who are interested in your car, I would say a really important thing is to stay on top of the communication with them, whether it's the questions they have, when they want to come look at the car, or anything like that, because it's pretty annoying when you're trying to buy a car and you want to talk to people about the car, come look at it, and you hear back from them 2 weeks later. So I would say really stay on top of that stuff. When people start to actually come look at your car, that's when you're going to need to know how to communicate with them, negotiate. And I know that can be kind of hard for some people. I think it's really important to just be calm and confident with the sale that's going to be happening or not. You're going to want to let them look at the car inside and out, however they want, answer any questions that you can answer for them, and ultimately you just need to help them understand what they're looking at in case they don't know. Now when it comes to negotiating price, this is probably the scariest part for people, but don't be afraid to negotiate. Communicate, go back and forth. You don't need to be nervous about it, it's no big deal. I know some people really struggle with it. I know Deborah doesn't like negotiating price. I don't like it either, but I've done it enough to kind of feel a little more comfortable doing it. So I mean, that kind of concludes the whole car selling process. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this. It's more of a how-to. It might help some of you out there. Let me know anything that I forgot or that you think is more important that I didn't include in the video. But anyway, if you liked it, hit the thumbs up button, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.